Welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we are looking at something truly extraordinary. Just imagine standing in front of a monument so massive, so beautifully carved, it practically defies human capability. Today we're unpacking the source material behind an unbelievable architectural mystery, the world's largest stone Buddha. For over a millennium, this colossal guardian has just sat quietly on a cliffside, keeping watch over a notoriously turbulent river. But how in the world was it built? How has it survived this long, and most importantly, did its creation actually change the physical world around it? Let's break it all down.
Okay, let's dive right into this by wrapping our heads around the sheer, undeniable scale of this statue. When we say giant, we are not kidding around. The shoulders of this Buddha are nearly 28 meters across. To put that into perspective, they are literally wider than a standard American football field. Just kind of visualize that for a second. An entire field of play, end zone to end zone, carved out of solid rock by human hands over 1,000 years ago. It immediately hits you that we aren't just talking about a statue here, we are talking about a terraformed mountain.
And you know, as we zoom in on the details, the scale just keeps building. Each one of its carefully, delicately carved ears stretches about 7 meters long. That perfectly matches the height of a typical two-story house. Imagine standing at the bottom of the earlobe, looking all the way up to the top. It'd be like staring up at the roof of your own home. The precision required to carve something so massive, yet so anatomically balanced, directly out of a cliff face, it's just staggering.
The true volume of this Buddha really becomes clear when we think about the number 100. Why? Well, because a single massive foot of this statue, measuring over 11 meters long, complete with giant stone toenails, is actually large enough for more than 100 people to stand on together at the exact same time. Looking upward from that foot, visitors today are just completely overwhelmed by the scale. It's this deeply humbling experience designed to make human beings feel incredibly small in the presence of something eternal.
Section 1. The Giant of Sichuan.
So this Buddha stands a towering 71 meters tall, confirming its status as the absolute largest stone Buddha statue on Earth. It's carved directly into a red sandstone cliff in Leshan City, right in China's Sichuan Province. And actually, if you're ever in the area, it's highly accessible, just about an hour from Chengdu by high-speed train. But what's truly remarkable is that this 71-meter giant hasn't just been sitting safely in a museum somewhere. It's been a guardian, totally exposed to the elements, watching over the exact same landscape for 1,300 years.
So who exactly are we looking at here? This is the Maitreya Buddha, also known as the Buddha of the future. Notice the posture, seated peacefully with his hands resting gently on his knees. It's a posture of immense calm and serenity. But what's really fascinating is the sharp contrast between this quiet, peaceful pose and the incredibly dangerous, violent environment the statue was actually built to oversee.
Moving on to Section 2, Taming the Deadly Rivers.
To really understand the Buddha, we've got to travel back in time to the Tang Dynasty. You see, the statue sits majestically right at the meeting point of 3 major rivers, the Min, the Dadu, and the Qingyi. And back in the 8th century, this convergence was downright lethal. The currents here were violent, unpredictable. Boats frequently sank, and countless innocent lives were lost to these turbulent waters. The local people were absolutely terrified. This crisis is what prompted a Buddhist monk named Hai Tong to envision a pretty radical solution. He believed that constructing a giant Buddha overlooking these rivers would exert a powerful spiritual force to calm the waters and protect the travelers passing through.
But, as you can guess, you don't carve a 71-meter statue overnight. Construction began in 713 AD under Hai Tong's tireless leadership. He spent years traveling all over China just to collect donations to fund this massive undertaking. But the progress was grueling. It was incredibly slow. And the real tragedy here is that Hai Tong actually passed away mid-construction. He never got to see his grand vision fully realized. It took the continued effort of local government officials and supporters to keep the dream alive. Finally, in 83 AD, after nearly 90 years of intense intergenerational effort, the colossal statue was completed.
I want to pause here on an incredible quote from Hai Tong himself. "I would rather lose my eyes than surrender the money meant for the Buddha." The story goes that corrupt officials actually tried to steal the hard-earned funds Hai Tong had collected. So in an ultimate act of defiance and devotion,
He declared this quote and, according to legend, actually gouged out his own eyes to prove his absolute dedication. Now, while historians might debate the exact literal accuracy of the legend, it perfectly anchors the deep human devotion, the sacrifice, and that pure grit that is literally carved right into the stone of this monument.
Which brings us to Section 3, Ancient Engineering Masterpiece.
Now, what's really interesting is that the Leshan Giant Buddha isn't just a triumph of scale and faith, it is a total marvel of ancient technology. I mean, a massive red sandstone statue in a region known for heavy rainfall, it honestly should have eroded away centuries ago. But the ancient builders were absolute geniuses. They designed an advanced, hidden drainage system right inside the Buddha. First, rainwater enters concealed channels seamlessly carved into the hair. Second, that water flows safely down internal pathways through the neck and chest. Third, the moisture is diverted out through the arms. And finally, it safely exits out of the back of the clothing. They basically built a highly functional internal plumbing system to carry corrosive rainwater away, preserving the monument for over a millennium. How cool is that?
And the number 1,000 really highlights the brilliance of that design. Remember how the first step of the drainage system was up in the hair? Well, the Buddha's massive 15-meter-high head alone contains over 1,000 carefully carved hair buns. Now, to the casual observer, they just look like beautiful, stylized artistic details. But functionally, these 1,000 hair buns ingeniously conceal the entrance points to that advanced water management system. It's this perfect, seamless blend of art and highly technical engineering.
All right, let's look at Section 4, the twist, myth meets science.
This is where the spiritual intent of the ancient builders collides directly with tangible modern physics. Did the statue actually calm the rivers? Think back to Monk Hai Tong's original goal, right? He wanted to build a spiritual guardian to magically tame those violent, deadly currents below. We know it took 90 years. We know he sacrificed everything for it. But when it was finally finished, did his dream actually come true? Did the boat stop sinking?
Well, the answer is yes. But the reason why is absolutely incredible. Modern scientists have looked into this, and they realized that during those 90 years of construction, workers were carving millions of pieces of solid rock away from the cliff face. And where did all that rock go? It fell straight down into the violent river below. Over decades, this massive accumulation of rock debris actually physically altered the riverbed. This change in the river's topography reduced the strength of the currents, changed the fluid dynamics entirely, and made navigation safer. So Hai Tong's goal of taming the waters actually worked. The myth proved true through the direct, physical science of engineering the landscape. It just perfectly marries spiritual faith with physical reality.
Finally, Section 5, a legacy set in stone.
Let's zoom back out for a second and reflect on what this monument means for us today. In 1996, UNESCO officially recognized the global importance of this marvel, inscribing the Leshan Giant Buddha along with the nearby beautifully forested Mount Emei as a World Heritage Site. Today, millions of tourists visit every single year. Some bravely climb the steep cliffside stairways for an up-close look, while others take these awesome panoramic boat cruises to see the Buddha's full grandeur right from the river. It stands today just as it did in 803 AD as a profound symbol of compassion, wisdom, and patience.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a pretty powerful question. What are we building today that will protect our descendants in 1,300 years? The Leshan Giant Buddha is a profound reminder that humanity's greatest achievements are rarely built in a single lifetime. They're built across generations. Hai Tong planted a seed he never saw fully bloom, but his faith, combined with brilliant ancient engineering, quite literally reshaped a mountain and tamed a river for a millennium. I really hope this structured look at the source material sparked your curiosity to explore more of our world's historical wonders. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.